Hi, everybody. This is Brian David Marshall coming to you from Grand Prix San Diego. It's round 4. I'm here with Marshall Sutcliffe, and we are watching Brian Kibler, Pro Tour Hall of Famer, playing against William Jensen, Pro Tour Venice runner-up and Pro Tour Boston champion. Of course, Brian Kibler is a 2-time champion. We see Search for Tomorrow gets suspended.
And it looks like Kibler already knows what the deal is here, as he's just going to send a bolt right to William Jensen's face to start things off.
And he takes 3 to do that,
yeah,
right? Because that's a Sacred Foundry. Brian's playing a very aggressive Naya deck, not totally a shock. This is the sort of color combination that's right in his wheelhouse. He likes green, white, red. 1 Pro Tour Austin playing these colors, and immediately drops a Tarmogoyf into play.
Search for Tomorrow is going to tick down.
Right. And the Search for Tomorrow is going to make that a 3-power Tarmogoyf. It's already got an instant on the land, then that'll be a sorcery.
Yep. Huey's deck is Scape Shift combo. He's trying to build up to enough lands. It's usually 7 or 8, depending on what your opponent's at, so that you can resolve a Scape Shift, sack all of your lands, get a Valakut, and then a bunch of mountains, and have all of the triggers go at the same time. You can see the players are playing very quickly here as Kibler is running out of Loxodon Smiter and fetching at the same time.
Well, and these guys know each other pretty well. They come from the same part of the country. They're both New Englanders. Both go back a long way in the game. I'm sure they've played each other a million times.
I see. Yeah, Kibler's off to a really fast start here. He's going to have 7 power on the table when he gets to untap.
Yep.
With Huey sitting all the way down at 12.
Huey's playing a Peer Through Depths. He broke a fetch land and got an island. Doesn't want to take any extra shock land damage here.
Every point counts here. He's going to need double green to be able to resolve Escape Shift, but he's a ways off right now. Huey plays cards like Sakura Tribe Elder, which would go a long way in this matchup, as they can block a Goyf or a Smiter for a turn and then accelerate him into the lands he needs to get critical mass, so that he can get that Scape Shift for lethal. Looks like Huey's got a tough choice here. He gets a look at the top 5. And he's decided on Farseek. Yeah.
Which is not the card
kind of miserable. Yeah. I mean, it's what he needs, but it's also just like, he's on a 2-turn clock.
He goes and gets an island.
And that is, like you mentioned earlier, BDM, it's going to make that Goyf 1 bigger.
Yep, that's a sorcery. So we get instant land and sorcery.
Search puts it in untapped, is that right?
Also, not a ton of control elements, board control elements for you. He does have Fire Spouts, but those aren't killing anything on Kibler's side of the board.
No, Kibler's stuff's way bigger. The main cards he has are Cryptic Command to help manage a board state.
And that's what you see. I just watched at the end of round 3, the Bogle deck come out to this incredible start against a very similar deck to the one Huey's playing, and the guy just was like, okay, well, I can't target your guys, but I can still tap them with Cryptic Command.
Absolutely.
And buying a turn, and eventually just, kill you.
That's right. Yeah, this actually looks... So another card that Huey has is Remand. And since Kibler did get off to such a quick start, cards like Remand now just look awful, in William's hands, in Huey's hands. Let's see what he can do here.
He's got to cast the Farseek.
Now, does he have a natural land drop? That's the question here.
Right. What he really wants is natural land drop, a Sakura Tribe Elder, and then he has a shot at winning.
Then he's in a decent spot, yeah. Oftentimes, though, that's going to come in the form of a Stomping Ground or something. He does have a land drop, but he's not able to...
Doesn't have the Elder. I mean, he would obviously just break that.
Correct. All right, so this is a turn where Huey is going to take a huge hit of damage, but it likely won't be lethal. It's going to need some combination of bolts from Kibler to make that happen. I see he has an Elspeth Knight Errant in his hand and also a Knight of the Reliquary. Kibler's favorite card, I think it's safe to say.
think every card in that deck that finally got him a Pro Tour win is his favorite card.
You might be right.
He says, "Okay, I'm going to play an Elspeth. Do you have that remand?"
No, he's playing Knight of the Reliquary.
I'm sorry, not the Reliquary. Yeah.
So what he's doing is just setting up so that even if one of his creatures gets killed here, he's going to be able to have lethal with the other two creatures next turn, most likely. Huey is going to crack a fetch land. So now it's all about Cryptic Command. Basically, Huey's in a situation where he needs to buy a couple of turns to develop his mana base and get to that critical mass of lands. And the best way to do that is going to be to Cryptic a couple of times. You see, again, he takes a no pain, or at least minimum pain.
Which probably means another Peer Through Depths here, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's what I would think, too. I haven't got a chance to actually see his hand because he holds him pretty close to the vest, but seems likely. Yeah, there it is. I mean, that's the one thing about the deck that Huey's playing. I mean, this Scapeshift deck, it wins in one turn.
Right.
I mean, it just resolves Scapeshift and kills you. It just needs to have the pieces together to do it, and the pieces are generally just a critical mass of lands to make your Valakut active. All right, so let's see what Huey comes up with here. Confirms that Kibler's got 3 cards in hand.
I mean, he's just... the cards in hand don't even matter, right? He's just... unless he has something, he's just dead on Kibler's attack style. So he has to have Cryptic Command. He has to have,
Cryptic Command? Yeah, 2 Sakura Tribe Elders wouldn't do it here.
No.
Again, actually, is that 1, 2, 3? Is the Goyf still just 3 power?
Yes.
Okay, well, there's a Sakura Tribe Elder, so that actually matters, although he's still going to have another. Oh, he takes 2.
He's like, don't have a bolt.
So he clearly has Cryptic, and he just has to concede that, Kibler might have a Lightning Bolt here. Although he did decide to play the Sakura Tribe Elder here, which could set up lethal next turn, so for Huey. So let's see what Kibler comes up with. This is a tight one.
It's a tight one with Kibler at 14.
Yes, at 14, but also Kibler's facing potentially lethal.
Fewer, you don't need quite as many. You also don't need quite as many lands.
That's right. Yeah, usually it's 18.
Yeah.
The Scapeshift player will pay keen attention.
You still need the critical mass of 5 mountains in play for your.
And then the Valakut. Yeah.
For the Valakut. So. Okay, here we go. We are going to see a Cryptic Command. He's like, I'm going to sack.
So he's going to sack it first, and that's going to clean out 1 land, because I'm assuming that he doesn't have the Scapeshift in hand, and he's hoping to go tap your team, draw a card, and have 2 draw steps at the Scapeshift. Ooh, this is going to be close. All right, so here's Cryptic.
What kind of burn is Kibler playing in his deck?
I think just bolts.
Am I dead?
He does play Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
And so if he's got one, I don't think he does. Oh, yeah, we see the bolt in his graveyard, but I'm saying we don't see. Does he?
All right, so Kibler's going to do some Knight of the Reliquary shenanigans with the Cryptic Command on the stack. For value, he can develop his mana base.
Right. He's basically going to...
He's going to dig for that
bolt?
bolt?
Yeah, he's going to
so both of them are...
They're just ripping.
This is funny. They both have a draw floating out in the world right now. And
gets a Horizon Canopy and then floats the mana and sacks it, and then sacrifices the Horizon Canopy immediately.
So if this is a Lightning Bolt off the top, then Kibler just wins this game on the spot.
Thank you very much.
If it's not, then it looks like Huey's going to get a chance to untap. All right, it was not a Lightning Bolt, and potentially kill Kibler here. He needs Escape Shift.
Oh, Deathrite Shaman.
Post-combat Deathrite Shaman.
Even your Cryptic Command won't save you now.
Yes, that's a great... Oh, actually, no, it will. Unless he can get a black source, which he might be able to with that Knight. All right, let's see what Huey's got.
That certainly is the body language of someone about to sacrifice their lands.
It is indeed 3. No, those aren't green, though.
Oh?
All right, he does not have Scape Shift in hand. Okay, he's going to Sphinx's Revelation for 1 because even maxing out on Sphinx's Revelation wouldn't do it.
He doesn't show us his card.
No. All right.
Oh, that would have been exciting.
And Brian Kibler takes down the first
Basically
game.
needed to draw a land, Scape Shift.
No, he had the other land.
did,
in
okay.
hand. It's just that it was a stomping ground, and he couldn't play it.
So there you get a look at the feature match area. You see VD Vijawa playing against Owen Turtenwald.
Yep.
Also along the back, you see Jesse Hampton, a
Yep.
Seattleite.
That's right.
Someone you
Friend of mine.
you know well.
He goes in my circles.
Yeah. And Jason Ford. And then in the foreground, we see Josh Ravitz
Yep.
playing against Patrick Sullivan. Patrick's on the right. So, a pretty good collection of feature matches for the first round
That's
of
an
play.
insane group of players
Yeah.
right there.
So you have like Pro Tour champion, Pro Tour finalist, 2-time Pro Tour champion. You have Player of the Year.
And Pro Tour top 8er now.
And Pro Tour top 8er. VD's a Grand Prix champion.
He is recently, too.
Yeah, and has won at other card games.
Sure.
Jesse Hampton, 2-time top 8er.
One-time top 8er, 1.5 time
yeah,
top
yeah.
8er.
And he had a virtual top 8.
Yeah, he almost made it.
Jason Ford, obviously young up-and-comer, so still looking for his top 8. Josh Ravitz has a Pro Tour top 16. What's it? Jason Ford is a Grand Prix champion.
And Josh also top 8'd the same event that VD won.
Right.
Grand Prix Denver.
Yeah. And Patrick Sullivan, the
Who's
champion of mountain,
Yeah, and also
fire
recent
slingers
Grand
everywhere.
Prix top 8er
Yeah.
as well. So this is
just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, just a few weeks ago. So this really is a stacked feature match area, especially for round 4. You can see there's some spectators
and
forming.
legitimately a Clippers fan before it was cool.
Absolutely. I'd see him wearing that stuff forever. So looks like he got all dressed up for us
there
too.
You get a look at the hall. We have just short of 800 players this weekend. It's like 770 somewhere in that neighborhood.
Here to play Modern.
Is this the last weekend of Modern? Is that? I mean, when standard PTQs start pretty soon, right?
I don't know. I think so. I know that they posted the schedule recently for Magic Online PTQs.
Yeah, our mind is our next step is the next thing we're going to be covering is Cube.
Yeah. Yes.
Next week.
Yes.
We're going to Boston for PAX East, and we're going to be watching 16 of the best Magic Online players.
Mox Championship,
Cube, Sealed, and Standard.
I'm pretty excited about that. I live on Magic Online in a lot of ways, so it's going to be really sweet.
Attention Magic players in the back of the gate crash sealed. Your round 3 pairings are going up. Please find your seats. Thank you.
I need to do well and stuff.
Yeah, I need to, if I do well in the Pro Tour,
You're not
or I'm not going to the tour. Yeah, I'm going I need 2 more points to be guaranteed platinum.
Kibler's talking about how many pro points he needs before he can get to platinum.
Yeah, he's
He's
really
close.
looking for 2 points.
That's what he said.
He needs 2 extra points. He's going to get 3 points at Pro Tour San Diego. But there's not a lot of Grand Prix for him. I mean, he's a working man now.
He is.
So like Grand Prix Pittsburgh, he can't go to because he's got to be a PAX. He's is going to be there with his company, and he can't. It's you see a lot of these the older players as they move into the real world. It's
You got to make a balance. It can be
tough.
Yep.
So he needs he'd really like 2 points here, or I guess Portland would also. Yeah. Otherwise he needs a reasonable finish. A reasonable finish.
Oh, okay.
At the Pro Tour.
So this is kind of an interesting matchup in that Huey he's thought about creatures, right? Like he has put cards in the main deck like Fire Spout and Lightning Bolt that he does not want to lose to random small creatures. Unfortunately for him, Kibler's creatures are huge.
Yeah. And
that makes cards like Fire Spout a lot worse.
Yeah, and then a couple sideboard cards going on. For Kibler, he's got Aven Mind Sensor, which can be a little bit of a little tricky for the Scape Shift player.
It's really good versus him. Yeah, definitely.
And he's also got Blood Moons. Like, oh, you like mountains?
Yeah.
I hear you like mountains.
Yeah, it's funny because if Huey can find ways to deal with Kibler's threats and there's a Blood Moon on the table, basically anything that Kibler can resolve can go the distance because Huey, he doesn't have infinite answers. And he won't be able to play Cryptic Command if there's a Blood Moon on the table.
He's playing a combo deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a combo control.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. I see that he has 3 Obstinate Baloth that he can bring in, but not ideal here. It's not like Kibler's going to be making him discard it, so he's going to have to hard cast Baloths, which are okay. Ah, that's how you fetch a fetch land right there.
And again, we see Kibler just go right to 17.
You're going to cast it up basically.
Yeah, so if you're going to go, there's 2 ways to play against this deck. You can try to stay above 18, or you can just go down to 16,
right.
Basically. The damage comes in 3s, so they're either going to do 15 or 18.
Right, he's like, I just choose to put the pedal to the metal.
Yes.
And try to get as much damage in this as possible. Noble Hierarch eats a lightning bolt.
Which is great for Huey.
Yeah. And
That
so,
is ideal.
That means, it's, one, turn away from, potentially a Blood Moon.
Goif's not too bad here either, as it's already a 3-4.
It's a 3/4.
Yeah.
So it's a very real clock and not something that we see, Huey have a lot of answers to.
Right, it's bolt proof already.
Right.
Is that a Lotus Cobra?
It is a Lotus Cobra. He's playing main deck Lotus Cobra.
I didn't know that.
He's got 2 of them in his deck.
Interesting. Just for the random explosive element. Oh no, talk about explosive. So that's both of them then.
Yes, that is both of them. Then we see another card in Brian Kibble's hand that he's very excited about this weekend is Domri Raid.
Oh, he's got a Domri Raid in his deck?
Yeah,
too?
yeah. I mean, he's got
Cool.
more than one. He thinks that card is super exciting. Thinks it's even better in modern than it is in standard. He's like, you have fetch land.
Right?
He's like, you have fetch lands. You have Knight of the Reliquary. Oh, you look at the top of your deck and it's kind of blank.
You can change that.
Well, I can change it. Yeah.
Interesting.
He's like, that's really good.
Yeah.
That
makes a lot of sense.
And I guess when you play, Naya decks, your
Heavy
your
creatures.
Jaces are not like the other Jaces. You know what I mean? Like, I try to draw another card. All right, I'll shuffle it away.
Yeah, and it certainly gives you the leg up in any creature-based matchup, as almost all of Brian's creatures are
Yeah,
big.
well, Knight of the Reliquary wins most of its fights.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sakura Tribe Elder from Huey. I'm sorry, we were talking. What did he peer for? He got a negate.
Yeah. Now, Kibler's got a bolt in hand, but decided not to use it.
And
There's Domri Raid.
Will that earn a negate?
You'd think so.
And so.
Are you sure it was negate? All right.
They fight.
He decided not to use the. I'm not sure what Huey would be saving the negate for, other than something like that.
Yeah. Worried about a Blood Moon?
Yeah.
Worried about a card he can't really do
Yeah,
with?
that's true. That's true. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He could be saving.
I mean,
it
he
for
does
that.
have like Nature's Claims in his sideboard and stuff like that. I don't know.
No, you're right though. Yeah, Blood Moon. I just couldn't think of it for some reason, but because Domri Raid isn't doing a ton here. He
Right.
used it to fight the Sakura Tribe Elder, but that didn't really matter because
Yeah.
he just acted in response. But yeah, Blood Moon's obviously a deal breaker here.
7, right? There's only
Kibler's fine with his Domri Raid dying too.
Yeah. So it's
Mixes.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage.
get a base. And green and white.
He made green and white, and he adds a Knight of the Reliquary to his already substantial board. That's lethal damage on the board now for Kibler.
And
We know one of Huey's hands is a negate. Don't know the rest.
Kibler's at 13.
Yeah? Landscape shift. It's not like Kibler can play around it.
Right. But in fact, he's just tried to play ahead of it.
Yep. But Huey would have done that. I'm assuming.
Well, again, if he has a Cryptic Command, he has another draw step. 2 extra draw steps, if you will.
True. He does have triple blue. And again, he's basically in this situation. So is that knight a 4/4? Yeah, it is. So if he were to sweep the board with something,
He has nothing to sweep the
then
board with.
yeah, I mean with like a fire spout, something like that, it would take out both of the Lotus Cobras, but it would not take out the knight, and it would not take out Tarmogoyf.
Right.
Yeah.
Magic players in the Ravnica Gate Crash sealed. If you have not found your table, please do so. Your round has started. Thank you.
Yeah, so he's gonna need to get up to 7 lands. Rashad's correcting me, and instead of 6, because each mountain needs to see 5 other mountains when they enter the battlefield, and then it also has to have a Valakut in there. So William is actually 1 land away still, and it looks like Kibler's still digging. Although
I don't see how. Oh, I guess Domri can't fight this turn.
Domri can't fight this turn, but Kibler still has. Let's see, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess. Yeah, we can go to 1.
Can bolt something.
I mean, Kibler has a bolt, so I think it'll just be game. Huey's going to have to use the negate on the bolt instead, which is fine. Kibler knows that Huey has it. Yeah, so it looks like Huey does get to live another turn here, unless he can get some other thing in the graveyard, like if he can kill his own. Can you bolt yourself and redirect it to your Planeswalker?
No.
I don't think you can do that. That's not a legal play. So if Kibler really wants to get that bolt out of Huey's hand, he can go for the bolt on the Elder, and that'll get the negate out of his hand, but doesn't really get him anywhere. So the question becomes, does Huey have Escape Shift in hand? Because with that Sakura Tribe Elder, he will have the full 7 lands, and he'll be able to do the minimum combo. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's one more, right? I think he has another land off screen. If he doesn't, then he's going to need to hit his natural land drop as well, which is possible.
All right, we see. Interesting.
All right, so Kibler is making some mana. We did see the Blood Moon peeking out
obviously,
there. Right. Kessig Wolf.
Oh. Very exciting.
That makes that Sakura Tribe Elder a heck of a lot worse.
Yeah, and again, that Kessig Wolfrun made 2 mana when it came into play because of the Lotus Cobras.
And he decided just to do it now, and he did it, and that was it.
So
Man.
Brian Kibler, 2 quick games.
Kibler,
and
Kibler always knows. There's always something to give with that Knight of the Reliquary with Kibler.
Yeah, well, you put a nice little toolbox of stuff in the mind. We see 2 other matches. We see Josh Ravitch shaking his head. I can't tell if that means he won or he lost.
You can never tell with Josh if that's the case.
Talking to Matt Sperling, Pro Tour San Jose champion.
They're going to be moving over.
Grand Prix San Jose
Grand Prix,
champion.
Yep. Team limited.
You're allowed to say no.
And, I imagine we're going to swing across and get a look at Owen Turtenwald and Vidi.
I don't have enough room for.
And there we are. And so Vidi is the player on the right. Owen Turtenwald's on the left. And let's get a look at what they are playing. Owen Turtenwald is playing.
I know. I actually know what Owen's playing. I got a chance to watch him play quite a bit.
He's playing a Jund deck,
but with big air quotes on it.
Yeah, it's like Jund.
Yeah, it's like exactly.
It's a hybrid of the Junk decks and the Jund decks.
And then it also has red.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
yeah.
So he's playing like basically. We saw in Grand Prix Chicago.
Uh-huh.
We saw a Jund deck with Lingering
With
Souls.
Lingering Souls. And there was,
win
two
the
in
whole
the
event,
finals?
two in the finals.
Uh-huh.
Well, the looks like the Channel Fireball team actually he's not. Owen's no longer Channel Fireball
He's
team.
Test with Star City.
Yeah, he's
now,
Star City now. Yeah, but the platinum circle of people who sort of got together for this event, built like a Jund list that is running white for Lingering Souls and for a Johnny Vengeant.
And Path.
And yeah, of course.
Like, how is this a Jund list still, right?
Yeah,
But it is. Like, that's what they still call it.
It's just not blue.
Yeah.
This is not Jund anymore. It's just not blue.
And typical VD fare here, there's a glimmer on every card he plays.
And VD's playing actual Jund.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, and he won a PT.
Yet he led with Stirring Wildwood, so he's got to. By actual, do you mean Lingering Souls actual, or these guys? Yeah, he's playing Path. So he's playing Junk.
Oh, he's playing Junk. Okay. Oh,
Yeah, I think he's playing Junk.
when I talked to him last night, I thought he was playing Jund. He just won a PTQ. Oh no! I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'm
he's on
confused.
Junk.
I'm confusing him with Josh Watainen.
Oh yeah, right. Right, and I was actually standing there.
Yeah.
No, but VD's on Junk here. And, so Owen's already got a Dark Confidant down, and he's revealing Tarmogoyfs off of it, which is kind of what you exactly want to be doing.
Pretty happy there.
Yeah. He doesn't have a green source on the table, but with a grip like that, you got to assume he has access to green mana.
And immediately puts an Arid Mason just puts it right into his graveyard.
He does. Yeah, I was watching Owen playtest this a little while ago, and he was telling me that you do face situations where you got to make a decision on which color you want to get, and you might need both. The mana is stretched pretty thin in this deck,
Sure.
so it's always a consideration for him. Not a bad turn.
Yeah, no, that's a fine turn.
Take two, play Goyf, play Deathrite Shaman, go.
Deathrite Shaman is a card that sort of seems to have, as the more pros get to play with that card, the more their mind is blown by it.
Yeah, the card's insane.
Just, and a legacy staple,
Yes.
a modern staple, a standard staple.
Yeah. Oh, that card is. It's funny because when I first read it, my mind wasn't blown, and then I saw somebody play it, and I'm like, well, okay, that's different. Yeah, it just hits on so many different axes. The card's really, really good. And it has 2 toughness.
Yeah. Yeah, Grim Lava Manager is just
It's so jealous.
going to support groups. Run the last troll.
All right, well, that'll be a nice stop sign for VD here, at least for a little bit. Owen draws a land off of Dark Confidant. It's always what you want to see.
Yeah, I mean, Owen's already at 13.
From
VD's at
from
17,
himself,
Yeah. But he's able to climb back in. He's got the Deathrite Shaman. He can pick up some life.
Uh-huh.
That Deathrite Shaman,
Jesus.
combo. Another Thoughts Easy
Down
goes
to
to 11.
Yep. Bob Maelstrom pulls for
Wow,
VD.
look at those beautiful bobs.
Yeah, man, those are the Judge promo ones. Those things are awesome. They made him with the old frame. The old, and the original wasn't even with the old frame.
Right,
so-
well, you can see the original right over there.
Yeah, there you go, for comparison's sake. And then, of course, they blind you with awesome foily goodness. So, yeah, those are pretty sweet. VD, he knows the good stuff, man. He brings the beautiful cards for sure. Looks like a tough decision for Owen here. He's really taking it out.
I feel like your opponent really knows their deck when they've got their deck completely blinged out.
Yeah, you would assume for sure.
They've had the time to get their 4 foil Dark Confidants.
Right. He looks like he took Maelstrom Pulse, which is interesting. If he leaves it, it kind of really means that VD can't play his own Dark Confidant until he Maelstrom Pulses away Owens, because it would kill his too.
There we see Lingering Souls, and again, the power of Deathrite Shaman. It just ramped him an extra mana.
Oh, and it also fixed his mana. It gave him access to white.
Yeah.
Owen unabashedly using his own tokens. I mean, if I had my own tokens, I'd probably use them too.
Yeah.
He just bashes with Thrun.
Yep.
Owen's going to throw a token in front.
So this is game 3, as you can see. These guys split the first 2 games.
Similar decks in a lot of ways, but Owens has a lot more power and double Dark Confidant for VD.
Another Thought Seize.
That was Inquisition.
Oh, that was Inquisition?
Yeah, and VD's hand is empty now.
That will not be true for long.
No.
Does VD have any way to gain life, or he doesn't have Batter Skull in his deck?
He's got his own 4 Deathrite Shamans lurking around somewhere, and he has 2 Kitchen Finks in the main deck as well. So yeah, he does have a few ways. He's playing a 1 of Sorin.
Ooh.
Yeah, he can make lifelink guys. And then, yeah, you mentioned the Batter Skull as well. Oh. Olivia Voldaren is going to take out one of the Bobs.
We have a dice.
The card we saw Owen playing in his deck from Montreal,
Yep.
in his standard deck.
He seems to like that card. And he's going to offer the trade with his Dark Confidant for VD's because he knows that VD can't really make that. VD has to get something going here, and that's going to start with drawing a bunch of extra cards from Dark Confidant. Yeah, lands a start. Batter Skull.
There you go.
Weren't you just asking if VD had any ways to gain life?
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately for him, though, Olivia Voldaren is an absolute force to be reckoned with here. And Owen has his own Dark Confidant going as well, so not looking great.
And can sort of start gaining life with that.
Yeah.
And can, flash back to Lingering Souls
Yeah.
and,
So Owen is clearly going to block, and that's the reason why he left that token back. All right, Batter Skull it is. So what that means is that if Owen hits his land drop, and if there's a fetch land in a graveyard somewhere, which there's a Marsh Flats for VD,
Yep.
he can actually ping it and just steal it if he wants.
Get it the heck out of the way,
Yeah.
which would be
I think lethal. If VD blocks the Goyf, then he would take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8. So not quite lethal, and the Deathrite Shaman would not have mana available because if he's going to make that play, he needs to hit a land drop and activate Deathrite Shaman this turn. Now, it's of note here, though, that he would only be stealing the token.
sure.
Now, he would carry the Batter Skull with it, but VD can return it to his hand still and render that token gone. But the key here is just getting it out of the way for the turn.
Yeah. I mean, and Owen would be perfectly happy with him returning
Wasting
it.
his
Yeah,
turn,
just
yeah.
like doing nothing.
Yeah, do nothing for the turn go.
Right. Rashad points out he could also just re-equip
Yep.
it to one of his other creatures.
Yep,
but-
he can do that too. He could throw it on Thrun and battle with an 8/8 Vigilance hexproof
well,
regenerator.
that sounds pretty good.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's exactly what Owen's thinking about here. Yeah, Thrun's actually a big problem here for Owen. It's not that he's going to die to it anytime soon. He can put up blockers for it, but once Batter Skull gets equipped on Thrun, it's pretty tough for Owen to deal with that. All right, so he looks like he's going for it here. Oh, ping, ping. Hit you for 6. All right, so he realized that wasn't a way that he could win this turn.
Right.
So he's going to do as much damage as he can. Just pass the turn back.
Oh, and interestingly, he can
He can win
prevent-
off of
he can-
Dark Confidant here too. Ooh. That's going to put VD down to 1, and Deathrite Shaman's going to finish him off. Woo!
And also what he was in a position to do there is
It was Kitchen Finks.
he was also in a position that if VD decided to like re-equip the Thron and attack, he could block and shoot he could block with one of his 1 toughness creatures and then shoot it
With his
with his
Olivia
Olivia, so that they would